Thank you for listening to this Podcast One production. Available on Apple Podcasts and Podcast One.
There is a place that is spoken about only in whispers. A dark area that spawns the beginnings of urban legends. A place where anything can happen and usually does. During the light of day, it hides just outside of view. But when the sun goes down, spirits, creatures of the night, roam free, and things do go bump in the night. It is in every state and every country, and there is no escaping it, no matter how safe you feel behind your locked doors and latched windows. So we invite you to turn down the lights and turn up your radio while we join Dave Schrader and Tim Dennis, your hosts, on a journey into the darkness on the edge of town.
Hello and welcome. You're tuned into the best in paranormal talk radio. This is Beyond the Darkness. I'm your host, Dave Schrader. That guy over there, that's Tim Dennis at the Supernatural News Desk. It is a Supernatural News Parashare Saturday, and it is your time to shine, America and the rest of the world. I guess we'll take emails from the Canadians, Tim.
I guess so, yeah.
The French,
Do
the Danish.
Do they have a different email system?
The Scottish, the Irish,
The Irish?
the English, the Deutsch, Tim. We'll take emails from all, and we'll share your stories on the show because we're an equal opportunity paranormal parashare show, Tim. I don't know if I've mentioned that. We'll talk about ghosts, jinn. Did I mention ghosts?
Yeah.
Demons, Tim. We'll talk about demons. We'll talk about, did I mention ghosts? UFOs, alien encounters, abductions, Ouija boards, scrying, weird things, any kind of strange paranormal activity you've ever encountered, you can email into us, Dave@darknessradio.com, and we'll share them on episodes like this. Now, we've got a lot of news to get through, Tim.
Okay.
And a lot of new stories to share regarding paranormal encounters. So where shall we begin this week's journey into the world of the unusual?
Well, let's go to your old home state of Illinois, Dave.
Yes. Dun, 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 dun.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. It's the official Medina, Illinois theme song, pretty sure.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
At least 72 UFOs reported this year in Illinois. Actually, World UFO Day was this past week.
Okay.
It was July 2nd. I don't know how you celebrated. I don't know if you stood outside and looked for UFOs or
I naked underneath the moonlight getting a tattoo.
Yeah, that sounds about right too.
Yep.
Yeah. So far in 2019, the Mutual UFO Network, or MUFON as it's known to the kids, said they've gotten 72 reports of unidentified objects in Illinois skies.
72, you say?
72.
72, Tim?
Already this year, Dave. 72.
Let's talk about overachieving.
Yeah, I know. They're well on their way. Well on their way. Well on their way to what? I don't know, but well on their way. Although they have been able to explain some of these sightings, at least 8 are being classified as unidentifiable or unknown. Just as the chances of life arising like it did here seems to be a rare occurrence, or conditions have been just so, Springfield resident Ted Keelan says. But is it as rare as the universe is large? That is the paradox. Boy, he's got some very crafty questions.
Crafty.
Large triangular crafts, square objects, and what appear to be fireballs have all been reported over Illinois. We need to realize that this whole scenario is more about us, who we are, what we are, and why we are, than what they are. Illinois State MUFON Director Sam Moranto said. That's a whole lot of question there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. People who study these sightings said skeptics remain, but they're committed to their research. We spend more time killing each other than we do working on developing a better lifestyle for all of us, Moranto said. Maybe we aren't mature enough. Maybe the release of something so advanced like this could be damaging. I don't know. But the bottom line is the phenomena does exist. It says if you do come across a flying object, investigators said you should take a video or at least a picture of what you're seeing. If possible, show it to someone else too. I guess so you can be ridiculed. I have no idea why they suggest that, Dave. There are several organizations that keep track of these sightings, such as MUFON. You probably want to show it to them as well. There you go. That's that's the article there. But at least 72 UFOs reported now in Illinois.
72 UFOs in Illinois.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In your face, rest of the world.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
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 Hi, Dave. Oof, I hate when they start off that way. It always gets awkward between Tim and I.
It does?
I've received dream visits from my grandparents after death. I know they weren't regular dreams. My grandparents were gorgeous. They glowed and looked as if they were so healthy, just in the prime of their life. I think that dream visits like that are fairly common. My friend, on the other hand, got a phone call from someone she didn't even know. The phone rang, and it was an old woman who was scared and said she was alone and in the dark. My friend does end-of-life care for people, so she wasn't as thrown by this as some might be. She asked the woman where she was and who should be there. She finally got from her that she was in a nursing home and wanted someone to contact her daughter. My friend got a phone number from the woman and called the daughter. She explained that her mother had dialed a wrong number and needed help at the nursing home. This is when the daughter let my friend know that her mother had died 3 days earlier. My friend was very upset and talked to her priest about it. She eventually accepted it. What else could she do? Oh, and one more. My mother-in-law died a couple of years ago. The first birthday of my husband's after she died, I found a birthday card from her to him. She'd been dead for months by then. The birthday card was one that she had originally sent him 30 years ago. The thing was that the card found its way from a locked chest in the attic where it had been for over 10 years with the rest of the family pictures and cards to the top of a TV stand where it couldn't be missed on his birthday. No one will ever convince me she was not there for his birthday that year. Thanks, Dave. I enjoy your shows. Erica. Well, thank you, Erica. But, that story about the phone call, Tim, that's making my blood run cold.
Yeah, it's a little creepy. I'm not going to lie.
The ghost was able to give the phone number of the daughter, and it worked.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. So she gets a call from this woman who's already been dead 3 days. She thinks she's still in the nursing home. I don't know if you got that, Tim, but
I picked up on that, yeah.
Yeah. That's creepy. Yeah. All right, where are you taking us next?
Well, we continue with the topic of alien life as Newsweek this week asked the question, should we search for alien life? They're saying scientists are asking the public if it's worth it. According to this article, a group of researchers hunting for intelligent alien life have asked the public if the search is worth the effort in an online survey. The team think their quiz could be the largest ever survey to assess public attitudes towards alien contact. Researchers with the UK Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence Research Network posted the questionnaire in conjunction with their A Message from Afar exhibit at London's Royal Society Summer Science event. Oh, I like that. It's in conjunction with the science fair at most schools. I don't know if you know that or not, Dave.
I did not.
Yeah, I'm just making that part up.
The
survey, which is...
Sounded too good to be true.
Yeah, it did. The survey, which is available at fromafar.world/opinion, asked people if they think there is life beyond our planet and whether they would care if there was. If asked how people would respond to news of extraterrestrial intelligence, how they would feel about contact, and if they would post about it on social media. It also asked what sources recipients would trust to deliver news on the discovery of any alien radio signals. The survey team thinks the results could inform international guidelines on how media outlets and governments would report on the detection of alien signals. Martin Dominic, an astronomer at the University of St. Andrews, told the newspaper, "There's obviously no procedure enshrined in international law on how to respond to a signal from an alien civilization. We want to hear people's views. The consequences affect more people than just scientists." John Elliott, a reader in intelligence engineering at Leeds Beckett University, told the newspaper that scientists would share news of the discovery of any alien signals right away, but he added this news would quickly become distorted and confused online. And, of course, on this program, we'd probably just make a joke out of it. It would take a long time and a lot of scientific study to interpret any signals that might come from intelligent alien sources. If that work starts to drag out and there is nothing new we can say, the information vacuum would be filled with speculation, he continued. Conjecture and rumor will take over. In other extraterrestrial news, scientists investigating mysterious interstellar visitor Oumuamua concluded the space rock probably wasn't an alien spacecraft. The unusual cigar-shaped object discovered back in 2017 was found to be accelerating through space rather than slowing down. Some scientists like Harvard's Avi Loeb thought this might indicate that Oumuamua was a kind of solar sail. So there you go.
You sound disenfranchised with those stories now. Are you not as excited about extraplanetary connection?
No, not at all.
You're not excited about it?
No, I didn't say that at all. Well, why are you?
Okay.
Why are you?
I don't know. You just had this kind of broken tonality to your voice in that story, kind of like, ugh, if Oumuamua wasn't it, we'd quit. I didn't know.
No.
If you'd hung it all on Oumuamua, and that was it. Now that they've discounted it as an alien probe, we should just throw our hats in the ring. Well, of course, people are going to. First of all, what kind of dumbass questions is this? Are people interested? Would people talk about it on social media? Of course they would. A buffalo farts at a zoo and people talk about it on social media. If we find life on another planet, everybody would be talking about it.
Some people.
Everybody. See that guy over there? He'd talk about it. See that woman? Right over there, Tim. That one. You see the one I'm pointing to? She'd talk about it.
There are a lot of meatheads that talk sports that wouldn't want to talk about it.
They might, Tim, because it might be a new franchise that they can open up on that planet. Yeah. This week, the Minnesota Vikings square off against the Uranus probes.
They'd say,
dun, 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 dun.
They would say, until they get a franchise, I don't want to hear nothing about them. That's what they'd probably say.
Are you ready for some probing? Monday Night Football. Just saying, Tim.
You'd be surprised. Until they could actually prove that there was something there. There are a lot of meatheads that don't want to know nothing about it.
Hey, Dave and Tim.
Hi.
I'm trying email rather than messenger. So, of course, you've heard how time is nonlinear on the other side. Well, something has been bugging me lately. As you know, I lost my dad on St. Patrick's Day. Well, I generally put no stock in dream stories, but this one has stuck with me. I had a very vivid dream that my dad had passed, and as I was sitting and grieving with my mom and one of my aunts, he appeared, standing right next to me, smiling. I was the only one who could see him. I was telling my family, he's right here. As I was in crazy tears, well, I woke up in tears, and I immediately called him to see if he was okay. He was fine. He died a year later. What I'm wondering is, that was a visitation from him. If time is nonlinear, maybe he came to me before the fact, maybe to subtly prepare me for his imminent death. I don't know, but it is comforting a thought. Now, as I said, I usually don't put stock in dream stories, but Dave, this one was so vivid. That's how many O's are in it, Tim.
Wow.
Yeah, so hammering home the point, Tim, very vivid.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the fact that it has stayed with me so long, I would love to hear your take on this. I love your show, and I'm always tuned in. Say hi to Tim and give him a kiss on the nose for me.
Aww. Your
devoted listener, David. P.S. See you on the dark side of the moon. Yes, I believe that. I believe that that's a possibility. That would be why we might hear voices of our loved ones calling out to us when we're home and they're not there. Why we might hear or feel as though something nudged us in a different direction at some point, or felt the gentle presence of something familiar helping us to make a decision. I don't know. That's my take on it. I could be wrong. I've been known to be wrong once or twice. You got nothing to add, Tim?
Oh, I do. I was just
okay. Let's hear it,
waiting
buddy.
for you to finish. I would just play devil's advocate and say good old fashioned psychic premonition, that you just had the premonition that he was going to pass and came to you in your dream.
Yeah, that's definitely an option. Yeah, the precognitive dreams.
Yeah, I think it was a precognitive dream that it was going to happen. It came to you, and you were preparing yourself. Or, you were getting that premonition to prepare yourself that it was coming.
Yeah. All right. What have we got next in the world of supernatural news, boy?
NASA has a $200 million space telescope, and it's found an alien planet almost the size of Earth, and it's been the smallest discovered. I don't know that it wants to have that tag to it. You never want to be the smallest discovered, Dave. Just saying.
Too late.
Yeah. NASA said its newest transiting exoplanet survey satellite space telescope, might want to think about shortening that name, has discovered its smallest exoplanet so far, an alien world that's roughly 80% the size of Earth and could help unlock secrets of how the blue planet became habitable. Known as L9859b, that's memorable. The new exoplanet is the star system L9859, 35 light years away from our solar system. Two other worlds were also discovered orbiting the L9859 star by the Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, or TESS for short. Now we're talking. We can call it TESS for short. Nearly doubling the number of small exoplanets discovered so far. The discovery is a great engineering and scientific accomplishment for TESS, said Veselin Kostov, an astrophysicist at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, and the study's lead author in a statement. For atmospheric studies of small planets, you need short orbits around bright stars, but such planets are often difficult to detect. This system has the potential for fascinating future studies.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. The discovery of L9859b and the two other planets was published in the Astronomical Journal. The other two exoplanets, known as L9859c and L9859d, not original names if you're looking for that naming contest, are approximately 1.4 and 1.6 times the size of Earth, respectively. All three were discovered when TESS spotted their shadows passing by the star, much like Groundhog Day, Dave. Yeah, when the planets see their shadows, there's 6 more weeks of looking for planets, I guess. I have no idea. Which cause periodic dips in the star's brightness. The smallest exoplanet ever discovered is Kepler-37b, which is approximately 1/5 the size of the Moon.
Oh, look how cute it is.
It is.
You are just the cutest little old planet. Who is? You are.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
It really
Wait a minute. I thought if it's that small, they can't consider it a planet. Isn't that what got Pluto booted out of our planetary friendship deal?
We don't talk about Pluto anymore, Dave. It's
come on, pal.
It's like
Pluto's my buddy.
It's like Fight Club. Nobody talks about Fight Club.
Or Pluto.
Yeah. L9859.
I haven't forgotten you, Pluto.
I did. Yeah.
You're horrible.
I did. I know.
Still serve McRibs on Pluto. I'm just saying.
Is that where they went?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Farthest reaches of space.
Jeez.
You have to go right past Uranus to get to it, Tim.
Normally they go right through my anus, Dave, not around them. L9859b orbits the star every 2.25 days and receives nearly 22 times the amount of energy that the Earth does from its sun.
He's peppy.
He is?
Uh-huh. Huh. See, Energizer. Oh, my God, dude. There's not enough money, they're saying, for all of these radio telescopes. Mm-hmm. Why don't they why don't they get corporate sponsorship? Like Energizer could sponsor, and they name that little go-getter planet the Energizer planet. Huh? Huh?
Sure.
Huh? I'm just saying, then you throw them out there and they're like, this planet is brought to you by Subway. Eat fresh, travel fresher. What do you think?
See if your corpse remains fresh on the way there?
Yeah. Come on. Corporate sponsorship to name planets. And that money goes into our continued, oh my God, dude, I'm quitting the radio show and I'm going into corporate sponsorship sales.
Of planets.
Yes, Tim. If Mally Fox can buy property on the moon, and you bought a star for your crush Oprah, Tim, why can't I sell corporate sponsorships to planets and help raise money for deep space probing? Yeah. Just saying.
Good luck to you, buddy.
Help Dave Schrader probe your deep recesses of space.
Sounds
thinking man, Tim.
Sounds like you are a Renaissance man. That sounds like a $1,000,000 plan right there.
Right.
That along with Gerber Insurance.
Yeah.
L9859C orbits every 3.7 days, and L9859D passes around its star once every 7.5 days. Let me give you a little technical information here, my friend, when you go to sell this deal. Unfortunately, none of these exoplanets are within the star's habitable zone, which eliminates the possibility of liquid water on them. However, not all hope is lost, I guess, when it comes to the possibility of supporting life. Oh, you might actually have some people to sell to here. All three exoplanets occupy the so-called Venus zone, which NASA describes as a distance where a planet with an initial Earth-like atmosphere could experience a runaway greenhouse effect that transforms it into a Venus-like atmosphere. It's possible L9859D could be similar to Venus, which is very rocky, or Neptune, which also has a small rocky core cocoon beneath its deep atmosphere. Joshua Schleider, who throws a mean fastball, a co-author of a study and an astrophysicist at NASA Goddard, said that not all planets that orbit stars are identical, highlighting the differences between Earth and Venus. We still have many questions about why Earth became habitable and Venus did not, Schleider said. If we can find and study similar examples around other stars like L9859, we can still potentially unlock some of those secrets. Tests which cost $200 million. That's a lot of sponsorships, Dave.
I think I could do it, especially if we sell some sponsorship to our bigger planets. Right? Like Uranus could be sponsored by Preparation H. Right? Planetation H, we'll call it, going forward.
Sure.
Right? Neptune could be, sponsored by Starkist.
Oh, I get it. Okay, yeah.
Right, yeah, tuna.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Starkist tuna, Neptune, it all makes sense. We'll call it Starkist Neptuna. Huh? Oh my God, this thing is writing itself.
What if Starkist says no?
Why would they? Well, then we'll go to Bumblebee. Bumblebee Neptuna. It's a great planet name. I don't care what you're thinking. Right?
Sure.
I'm just saying. Something to consider. Venus, we can get the big people behind that, Tim. The razor company. Right? They got the Venus razors. What am I doing wasting time on radio when I'm germinating brainstorms like this that could make us kabillions of dollars, Tim? Kabillions.
Kabillions?
Kabillions.
I think I learned that term in financial class in college.
Advil could sponsor Mars. Little, red, powerful. Advil, the planet, coming to a universe near you. What do you think? I'm just throwing them out there.
What happens? Okay, now, wait a minute here. Now, 4th of July, President Trump is out there on the plaza, and he's doing his little speech, and he's talking about how we're going to reach Mars. What happens when we reach Mars and you've got it all sold out?
Well, first of all, he'd have to refer to it as its new proper name, Tim.
Okay. Which is?
Advilla. right? I'm just saying.
Uh-huh.
And it's going to be bigger and better because it's an American company sponsoring Ed Villa.
Ed Villa.
And every 25 years, the lease goes up. We can continually change the name of the planets. That would give us a reason to continue to teach this stuff in school because people have to be kept up to date.
I see.
And then the sun, which is nothing but a big ball of flaming gas.
Yes.
We could probably get somebody like Jay-Z to sponsor that.
I thought you were going
Who's a cat that's married to one of the Kardashians? Who's that horrible musician who thinks he's somebody?
Kanye West?
Kanye West. Yes. He'd love. Tell me. Kanye West would definitely sponsor a planet.
I thought you were going to go for Gas X there.
Yeah.
But I guess
No.
not.
No. Well, that'd be a good one. But I'm thinking big ball of gas, thinking it's a star. That would definitely be Kanye West. P. Diddy could sponsor Pluto, Tim.
Why P. Diddy and Pluto?
Pluto Diddy. That's the name of the planet now.
Diddy.
Right. It's the little one that nobody really thinks about, but it's powerful, man. It's an important piece of our universe, like P. Diddy. Just throwing it out there, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are guys that have a little extra money laying around, Tim. I'm just thinking, because he might not have Kanye West money, that P. Diddy, that kid, that Sean Combs, but, he might sponsor that little afterthought planet, Pluto.
So you're thinking in the grand scope of things, like having your own building is not enough, having your own yacht is not enough. You're thinking
everybody got one of them, son.
Right. You're thinking
planetary sponsorship.
Owning a planet is baller.
Right. Right. And then, maybe like all the .coms could start sponsoring asteroids and comets. Flashes in the night sky. That's what I'm saying, Tim.
Have you ever thought of maybe going to Jeff Bezos over at Amazon and having Amazon's maybe go big or go home? This solar system brought to you by Amazon.
Oh, the Amazon solar system. I like that. I think we can make that happen. In the Yahoo Galaxy. Oh, huh?
Right.
All right.
In the Yahoo Galaxy.
Just stop, because all of the multi-billionaires that listen to the show are already trying to figure out how to hoodwink us and get underneath us on this deal, Tim.
Well, I got one more here for you as I wrap up the story. Tess, which cost $200 million, was launched in April 2018 aboard
That's just Diddy's payment for naming the planet Pluto Diddy.
Pluto Diddy.
Boom, $200 million in the bank, son.
Okay.
And then there it is. It's done. We've got the money raised.
All right. Was launched in April 2018 aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. SpaceX? Replaced the Kepler telescope, which started to malfunction towards the latter part of last year and was eventually retired in October of 2018. In total, Kepler was responsible for the discovery of more than 2,600 exoplanets. That's a lot of sponsorships.
Yeah. Samsung could sponsor the galaxy.
Oh, yeah. Look at
that. Amazon could sponsor the universe. And who could sponsor space, Tim? SpaceX. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah. Including 18 Earth-size exoplanets in those 2,600 exoplanets.
Nice.
So there you go. There's a lot of sponsorship opportunities there, Mr. Schrader.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm telling you. All right. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
You know what else is exciting?
What's that?
Hey, everybody. TrueCar has been a proud sponsor of Beyond the Darkness for years. So we want to partner with them to hear about your TrueCar experience. And you may even get an Amazon gift card to kick off your summer. We want to hear about your TrueCar shopping experience. So send us an email to truecar@podcastone.com. That's truecar@podcastone.com. And tell us about your shopping experience with TrueCar. The first 200 people to email will receive a $20 Amazon gift card. So you're going to have to send them in the mail soon. We can't wait to hear from you. Do it now. TrueCar@podcastone.com. Get those emails sent. Tell us your story and experience about shopping with TrueCar. First 200 people will get a $20 Amazon gift card. Pluto TV is the leading free streaming television service, Tim, and maybe the people we're looking to sponsor, Pluto Diddy if Diddy doesn't want a part of it.
That's true.
Because Pluto TV has over 100 TV channels and thousands of movies that are on demand. How much would you pay for something like this, Tim? $100 a month? $200 a month? Maybe $500 a month, making that big radio bankroll you come home with every month?
Maybe.
How about if I tell you this? Pluto TV is free, completely free. Never asks for a credit card. You don't even need to sign up and give your personal information to watch it free, Tim. Huh? Pluto TV, it's easy and completely legal way to watch your favorite TV shows and hit movies for free. What are you guys waiting for? Never pay for TV again by downloading Pluto TV. You can download Pluto TV for free on all of your favorite devices today, including your phone, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, smart TVs, PlayStations, and anywhere else that you stream. Pluto TV is the leading free streaming television service. Watch over 100 TV channels, thousands of movies, all on demand, all for free. Again, no credit card needed, no sign up. Pluto TV is easy and completely legal way to watch your favorite TV shows and hit movies. Come on, stop sitting around waiting. It ain't going to come to you. Get up and get it yourself. Never pay for TV again. Download Pluto TV for free on all of your favorite devices today. All right, Tim, where are we going next in the world of supernatural news?
Well, Dave, we're headed to Britain, where a pensioner died watching a horror movie about a demonic doll in a theater on holiday in Thailand. Normally, more pleasurable things happen in Thailand, Dave.
This sounds like the setup for a really bad joke.
It does, yeah, but unfortunately, it's gone awry. 77-year-old Bernard Channing went to see the paranormal chiller Annabelle Comes Home on Tuesday night while visiting tourist hotspot Pattaya. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. I'm gonna get emails from Thailand now. This will be fun. But when the film finished and the lights were turned on, and a shocked cinema goer next to the OAP tourist saw he was dead. The shaken woman shouted for staff to help and call the emergency services at 8 p.m. local time. Bernard from Gedling Knots was pronounced dead inside the venue. His body was taken away by a side door and loaded into an ambulance. Local resident Montira Fengrat who arrived at the cinema after the death said guests were very upset. She said there were some people at the entrance talking with staff. They were in the cinema where the man died, and they were very upset. They were shocked by what had happened. Some people had been sitting near the dead man during the movie. The cinema staff were very concerned when they tried to prevent anybody from seeing what was happening. We were prohibited from taking pictures. Who would want to take pictures of a dead guy after you've been sitting near him in a movie? Good God. People in Thailand are weird. Bernard had been sitting next to someone, but it was not clear if they were together or what their relationship was. In Thailand, Dave. He is listed as a director.
One night in Bangkok makes a hard man stumble.
Maybe they were just playing chess, Dave. They were just playing chess. He is listed as a director of Lloyd Channing, which is a shop equipment limited, alongside several other people from the region. Police say that Bernard's body had been taken to the hospital in the Banglamung district, where a post-mortem examination would be performed to establish how he died. Annabelle Comes Home is the third Annabelle horror movie and seventh in the Conjuring horror franchise. It is the second time someone has reported died watching a film in the Conjuring series at a cinema. In 2016, a 65-year-old man from India had a heart attack watching The Conjuring 2 on the big screen. Police Lieutenant Colonel Palpadam Tamachat said police were notified of the death at 8 p.m. inside the cinema in a shopping mall. From the preliminary investigation, it was not known how the foreign man had died, but doctors will conduct an autopsy to establish the true cause of death. We are not looking for anybody else connected to the death. We do not believe there was any suspicious foul play. The British Embassy has been contacted to pass on the details of the incident to the relatives of Mr. Channing. There you go.
We hardly knew ye, Mr. Channing. We hardly knew ye.
Neither did the person sitting next to him in the theater, evidently.
Hey, Darkness Dave and Tumultuous Tim.
Hiya.
I threw in those two nicknames. It said Dave and Tim, but I felt it was very short.
Right. Okay.
Recently, I was watching Ghost Adventures, and a lot of the episodes involved a Ouija, or spirit board. I remember being really good at getting responses from the boards when I played with my friends. The planchette would race around the board under my fingers, often leaving some of them behind, and would stop dead when I took my hand away. No, I wasn't having them on by pushing it around. I want the truth, even if it's just electrical impulses in the brain pushing it around. The one thing that bothered me that I can't figure out is why my friends' hands covered in what looked like ashes every time I took my hands away. Let me read that again. That got confusing. One thing that bothered me, I can't figure out, is why were my hands, covered in what looks like ashes every time I took my hands away. Every damn time. Lights on, lights off, candles, no candles, washed hands after a shower, and when I noticed the pattern, I made sure to scrub in like a surgeon. Even so, there were ashes or soots on the pads of my fingers. I stopped screwing around with the boards after I had a run-in with everybody's favorite Zeemond. So-so, Tim, so-so.
Oh, right.
I did my due diligence before reaching out to you guys. I Googled for a few hours, checked Reddit, and went to your site to see if you had anyone listed with spirit board experience, but I didn't find anything. The only thing I got was a few Christian sites yelling about demonic possession, which was less than helpful. I don't plan on using a board again, but no one else ever had this issue. Do you have anyone or any resources that I can go to so I can find out? Even if you guys don't, it would be good to finally tell someone other than my cat. Your shows have always been endlessly fun and at times very educational. Keep up the good work. All my best, Alexis. Well, Alexis, we know people. Oh, Tim.
Yeah.
Do we know people?
We know people, yeah.
Who do we know, Tim?
Some people.
Oh,
yeah.
Why weren't you a little bit more clear about that up front? Why do you always got to play games, Tim?
I'm not trying to. I just...
Well, Alexis, you could always reach out to the Talking Board Society. That is run by Robert Murch, or just find Robert Murch on Facebook, or the Historical Talking Board Society, or the Talking Historical Board Society, or the Society of Boards that are historically talking. I can't remember what it's called, Tim. Let me see if I can look it up while we're chatting. The Talking Board Historical Society. Yes, that's the one. And reach out to them. They may have questions or answers or maybe be able to point you in the direction. But if any of our other listeners have ever had that incident happen where once you're done playing with the Ouija board, you actually feel ashes or find ashes on your hands, we'd love to know about it. That's really bizarre. I've never heard of that before.
No, I haven't either.
Haven't you, Tim?
No. Nope.
I don't know that I can trust anything you say now.
Why?
You were playing the game at the beginning of this conversation with, what I know and what I don't know. Psh, whatever. Sorry. A little paranoid. I didn't get much sleep last night. That's all.
All
right. Where are we off to next in the world of supernatural news?
Well, an occult and paranormal shop owner claims that religious discrimination is afoot as landlord cites Buddhist spiritual beliefs to deny rental application. That's a good reason to do it, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, a man who wanted to rent a new space for his occult and paranormal bookshop claims he was refused because of the Buddhist landlord's spiritual beliefs. Drew Sinton has owned and run the iconic haunted bookshop in Melbourne's CBD for 22 years, selling everything to do with the paranormal and also running ghost tours. The shop is on a laneway where the Gothic community once flocked, with clothing stores and a nightclub catering for them. That's pretty nice. They're all gone now, and Mr. Sinton said he now no longer is able to afford his rent.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's not good either. His longtime landlord passed away, and her 5 children took over the deed, raising Mr. Sinton's rent by $500 a week. That's a hefty.
Yeah, that's a fine. How do you do?
Yeah, that's a $2,000 hike a month. I looked around for other places to rent. I'm an independent bookshop owner. I can't afford $70,000 to $100,000 a year in rent. Wow. Mr. Sinton told Daily Mail Australia. He added he didn't want to raise the prices of his products to meet the rent. Mr. Sinton said he found an alternative property at nearby 392 Bork Street, owned by Osvest Holdings.
Bork Street.
Asking for the relatively affordable rent of $33,000 per year.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's not too shabby. I had a look, and the estate agent told me that the owner was high up in the Buddhist community, Mr. Sinton said. Mr. Sinton said he wasn't worried, as he saw a McDonald's also on the property, which, would make you think that there would be some sort of conflict, a conflict with some sects of Buddhism. He put in a rental application and took the agent back to his bookshop to take photos to give a sense of his business. Mr. Sinton also sells Buddhist-related products and wanted the agent to take a picture of that display. He claims he got an email back that said, due to the landlord's spiritual beliefs, he is not willing to put Haunted Bookshop in his asset. Mr. Sinton put the email up on his Facebook page, and his fans met it with outrage. He has filed a religious discrimination complaint with the Victorian Equal Opportunity and Human Rights Commission, but claims he doesn't want money from the dispute. A legal representative on behalf of Osvest Holdings told Daily Mail Australia, we've seen media reports regarding these claims and are unable to comment further. Mr. Sinton said he just wants to highlight that it isn't fair. I've had issues with Christians my whole career. I've never expected issues with Buddhists right at the end. It's just horrible, he said. He continued to say, how can he make money in this climate when other larger businesses are struggling to make ends meet? And not meat as in McDonald's, but meat as in... No,
not that kind of meat,
yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's... what a bummer. Well, at least he's turning things around.
Turning them around also.
I don't know. I get distracted for a minute. I was trying to sound positive and be upbeat because he was, getting screwed on his rent, and then he found something better, and I was just trying to. Yeah,
but then they're saying you can't come over here, not with that haunted crap.
Yeah, well, there's that. Maybe if he, no, I got nothing. Yeah, nothing. Just sell it online. Sell it online. Then you don't even have to have rent. Could be living in a van down by the river selling stuff online.
No. You got to store all that stuff someplace, though.
Let's do this. Let's take a break and come back because we've got more of the best in Paranormal Talk Radio right after this.
It was a crime no one expected and one many can't forget. 22 Hours, An American Nightmare. A new podcast from WTOP News and Podcast One details the heinous murders of a D.C. power couple, their 10-year-old son, and housekeeper inside their own home. The chilling messages from the victims being held hostage.
Hey, Nellie, it's Sava.
The complicated trail of evidence and shocking moments from the trial.
She thinks she knows how Darren Wint got inside the house.
His defense team drops a bombshell.
Will this investigation lead to the release of confidential audio recordings from the case?
So it's under general counsel review. I mean, I'm committing to making a transparent court.
22 Hours, An American Nightmare. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts today.
Beyond the darkness.
All right, we're back. This is the best at Paranormal Talk Radio. I'm Dave Schrader. That's Tim Dennis. This is Supernatural News and Parashare Saturday. Tim, what have we got next in the world of supernatural news?
We're headed across the pond to York, Dave, where we've got an exciting story about an exciting ghost that likes to fling exciting items across an exciting bar.
Ooh, wow, fun.
I try to make it exciting for you guys. Is that exciting enough for you? I don't know.
It was for me.
Was it? Okay. It sounds exciting. Everything seemed normal when Luke Smithson arrived for work in the morning, but things soon took a paranormal turn. Luke is a bar supervisor at the Shambles Tavern. Which you deserve to have things thrown around a bar if you've named it the Shambles Tavern, you would think. And was in early to clean the beer lines. And then all of a sudden, around 7:20 a.m., this happened, as it was captured on the bar's CCTV. You can't see it because it's video and it's radio, and why should you even look? But it just all of a sudden crash, boom, bang. And here's the description. He says, I was just about to do my second line clean. I walked around the bar, and suddenly everything just flew from the shelves. All the boxes flew all over the bar. A couple of glasses came off as well. There was proper force behind it. Even the speaker on the top shelf was knocked down. To be fair, Luke, who's 23, reacted with commendable calm. We all have vaulted the bar and dived through the window, but apart from a small jump, he took this strange occurrence in stride. To be honest, I was more annoyed that I would have to clean it up, he said. As a firm believer in ghosts, Luke thinks that a poltergeist could have been an explanation. He said it couldn't have been a gust of wind, as the doors were all shut, and I was the only one in the building. And the old building could well be haunted. Luke and other staff have heard mysterious bumps and footsteps, and psychics have sensed a presence. There was a butcher's family here that went in the early 1900s that we've always thought were still here, Luke said. And it is not the only ghostly experience on Shambles in recent years. They reported in this paper how a visitor to the Earl Grey tea rooms was grabbed by a spirit in the loo. That's never good. The poltergeist activity in Shambles Tavern is not the first that Luke has experienced of the paranormal. He said he's had different experiences, but never seen anything like that before.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Huh. 7 years ago, this just jumps right into it, Tim. Okay. 7 years ago, I met a girl online, and over time we admitted romantic feelings for one another. I began to question myself as there was quite a large age gap, so I was wrestling with my conscience and my feelings. I finally said, Pa, if you can hear me, I need your guidance. I looked down at my desk, and there was a penny on my desk. I hadn't noticed it before. I blew it off as coincidence, but over the course of the next week, I continually found pennies heads up in places that they weren't before. Finally, I decided he was trying to tell me I was doing the right thing. I flew up and moved with her 1,300 miles away to be together. It's been 7 years now. We are the happiest couple you'd know. We still ask him about things, and a penny always shows up. We take face up as a yes, face down as a no. That comes from Harold. That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
It's a neat little way to test the old spirit guide system.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right, where are we off to next, sir?
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma, where the wind goes up and down the plains. Yes, Oklahoma City.
Ghost hunters in Oklahoma City are exploring the unexplained there at a former orphanage site on the grounds where a Methodist orphanage had been decades ago. Strange sightings have been reported. There were stories of children seeing imaginary children. There were strange sounds in the building day and night, said Pam Newby, the director and founder of Special Care at Northwest 122 and Western Avenue. After 2 decades of phenomenon, Newby decided to give a local group of paranormal researchers a chance to explore some of the history of the building she had occupied for almost 2 decades. Newby said her co-workers called the Oklahoma Paranormal Research Investigation Team, led by Mustang resident Christy Clark, in 1919 on what had been the campus of Oklahoma Wesleyan College at what now is Northwest 122 and Western Avenue stood the Oklahoma Methodist Orphanage. Within a mile and a half of the city of Britain, on 320 acres, the children's home was no stranger to tragedy. According to the book, Mommy, What's an Orphan? The book was written by Harry Edward Hicks, who lived at the orphanage as a child. His sister, Etheline Hicks, who was 12 at the time, died on December 10th of 1924 when she fell off a pickup that another boy was driving there. That sounds like a horrible way to go. Harry Hicks, who died in 2011, was born in Healdton and was raised in the orphanage after his mother died. He graduated from Britain High School at age 17 and graduated from Central State Teachers College, now the University of Central Oklahoma. served in the Navy in World War II, and had a long career as an educator, according to an obituary. In 1942, 60 children at the orphanage were moved to Tulaqua to a new home. The original orphanage building was torn down in 1972. A new building was erected in 2002 at the site of the orphanage, and strange things began to be noticed there. Newby is Director of Special Care and Early Childhood and Therapeutic Operation for Children with Special Needs or Developmental Disabilities. She said a few children have described encounters with ghosts of children on the playground over the years, including one 6-year-old girl in a wheelchair who wanted to play with a little girl she said was hiding behind a tapestry on the wall. The hiding girl was little and had blonde hair, she explained. No little girl was found. All of these sightings were from kiddos of kids who were not there, Newby said. A child on the autism spectrum said, "Why can't he play?" and pointed to a little boy with a red hat, and there was no one there. Newby said, "We hear noises all the time, and most of the time we just chalk it up to this being a metal building, and you hear creaking all the time." She said the janitorial crew has said toys that are battery-operated have turned on and off at night. A children's musical theater group that used the space for rehearsal once said they heard, or thought they had heard, a girl say hello. Newby said, "We had stories from kids for years about seeing other kids, even before I knew there was an orphanage." This year, Newby's staff contacted Clark and her paranormal research team to visit the building. 44-year-old Clark has been investigating paranormal activities for almost 2 decades. She founded the Oklahoma Paranormal Research and Investigation Team in 2000, building it with Central Oklahoma members. She feels she has a gift to see the spirit world. She said, "I try to figure out who the spirits are. Who are there," she said. A little confusing there. "We are not there to conjure anything up, but to find out what is there." When she heard about the stories at Special Care, she started to research the orphanage with help from researcher Kathy Wickham of Newcastle. It was a place that had its share of tragedies. 15-year-old Carl Spiva and 10-year-old Cecil Hunt, who lived at the orphanage, were electrocuted when copper kite string touched a high-voltage line on March 3rd of 1934, according to an article in the Oklahoman. On her first visit to Special Care, Clark said she felt there had been a fire there. She later learned that a barn had been burned. She also said that she saw the ghost of a young girl and later learned from Newby that other children talked about a young girl being there that the adults had never seen. She said she saw the ghost of a boy who was a bit of a prankster, a ringleader, Clark said. She learned of a young boy who had drowned in a pond. In a section of the Britton Cemetery on Northwestern are the grave sites of the orphans who had died, including a boy, George Humphrey, who died in 1931. And she found the graves of Etheline Hicks and Carl Spiva. She said she believes ghosts can be souls of people who died too young or tragically. "We go because we have a passion for the paranormal and because we learn things, and it also helps our clients. I can't tell you how many clients have come to us for help," she said. When Clark was in Special Care, she said she heard a knocking sound on her nursery room door. Her recording equipment picked up ghostly sounds. During her ghost hunt, she talks to spirits and to angels. "I know that makes me sound like a quack," she said. And there you go.
Hey, Dave and Tim. Hey, Dave and Tim. That's how this email starts off, Tim.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Dave and Tim.
Hello?
This is another weird one from me. About 2 years ago, I distinctly recall Clint Eastwood dying. My dad and I even had a conversation about it. The Mule came out after his passing, which, to our knowledge, was the last film he made. Today, I see he is set to direct a new film in Georgia against Alyssa Milano's protest. I'm not trying to convert you on this one, but do you have any recollection of his passing? Thanks, John. P.S. It has been several months since I've got to listen to the show, so if you've talked about this example at some point, my apologies. Well, welcome back to the fold, John. We're glad that you're back and listening to the show, and hopefully you are listening so that you hear the answer to your question. No, I don't recall Clint Eastwood dying. Do you, Tim?
No.
No. I mean, you don't want to be Clint Eastwood crossing foils with another Hollywood legend like Alyssa Milano. That might be the death of his career. He's like 89 now or something, isn't he? Some ridiculous age.
Yeah, he's up there. He's in his upper 80s. But no, never once heard him even getting close to passing away, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And he's been pretty active.
He's 89 years old.
He's been pretty active in Hollywood. He's always had a project out there that he's been... In fact, he just had a movie out about being a mule for a Mexican drug lord.
That's what they said. Yeah, the mule came out, but they believe that he had died before it was released.
No.
So, weird.
Yeah.
Weird stuff. I don't know. No, I don't know if anybody else remembers him dying or the story of him dying. But again, that's how the Mandela effect works, right? Because not all of us remember.
He did press for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, he did press for it on this planet, Tim, on this version of the world. Oh, Tim, I could sell planets in alternate dimensions as well. So there could be multiple owners of planet Pluto, Tim. P. Diddy, Pluto Diddy could own one.
Yeah.
Planet Pluto TV could own another version of it. Preparation H could own Uranus. Kind of already does.
Yeah,
You know, Taco Bell could also own Uranus, which it does, on another way. So I'm just saying there's multiple levels, multiple universe theory, Tim.
And then McRib would own a third.
This is it. I'm done. I have no need to be here anymore, Tim. I'm on the precipice of making $1 gabillion with my ideas. What am I doing slumming with the likes of you when I'm burgeoning with ideas like this?
No idea.
All right. Yeah. You got some more news to share with me?
I do.
All right. Where are we off to next?
Well, we're off to find Bigfoot, Dave. Turns out that that's Chewbacca, isn't it? Yeah.
Aren't they the same thing? Both of them are big, hairy, bipedal, erect creatures with giant feet.
Why are they all erect? Are they brushing up against too many trees?
Why do you always got to take it to a weird place?
Well, you're the one who said it. I didn't say it.
Still perplexed about Alyssa Milano wanting to fist fight with Clint Eastwood over his directorial place in Georgia.
I am too. I have no idea what that's all about. Why would you want to beat up an old man?
No, let's start that rumor.
Yeah. Alyssa Milano wants to fight Clint Eastwood. Pass it on.
Pass it on. Well, it's because of the anti-abortion thing going on in Georgia, so a lot of people are protesting filming there now.
Well, I mean, I know that. But I'm just saying, she wants to take him on in a boxing ring.
Yeah.
Just like, what's her name? Just like Hillary Swank. Pass it on.
She wants to poke him in the throat.
Yep, poke him in the throat.
All right, what's next?
Bigfoot. We're out finding Bigfoot. One man's mission to locate New Zealand's very own Sasquatch. He's out there looking for Sasquatch out in the New Zealand brush. Mark Koppel is his name. Paranormal investigator claims he's planning a mission to find New Zealand's very own Bigfoot. Mark Koppel said he hoped to capture footage of the Mohau Man? Is that how he's saying it? I guess. Which he claimed was an ape-like creature from I don't know how you say this legend. Maori?
I just like hearing you try to fight through it.
I
don't know.
Auckland-based Koppel said his hunt started back in 2015 when he had strange experiences out in a remote area of Coromandel Bush. If I had $1 for every time I had problems with Coromandel Bush, I'd have $1.
There's a cream that'll clear that up,
Is there? After finding unusual footprints in hard-to-reach places, which I have those every weekend, and hearing heavy bipedal approaches, I've had the unnerving feeling of being watched, he said. He started wearing point-of-view cameras and making casts of footprints he came across. Since then, the 49-year-old has been on numerous treks to gather evidence in the Mohau mountain regions. I've never been to New Zealand. Nobody takes me anywhere, Dave. You know that? I sit here in this...
Nobody goes to New Zealand, Tim. Nobody.
That's not true. Xena Warrior Princess was there.
Yeah, she left, Tim. She left. The Hobbit left.
Really?
Yeah. Hercules left.
Really?
Just think about it. Just saying.
So there's
New Zealand's wonderful. I've been told. Beautiful place. It's like Australian light.
But you promise there's nobody there anymore?
I don't think so, Tim. I think they've deserted it since basically since all the dinosaurs got loose.
So since then, the 49-year-old has been on numerous treks to gather evidence in that there mountain range we're talking about that I can't pronounce, near the tip of the North Island's Coromandel Peninsula, Dave. Koppel said the manimal, which was once featured on NBC, could be a strong, shaggy creature that lived in the bush. It was probably ape-like in appearance, but upstanding and much larger than the average man, he said. I've heard very strange scream sounds. I've found footprints and even had stones thrown at me. I'm dead serious. It's extremely bizarre, he went on to say. I've even heard what's called wood taps, which sounds like a wooden bat knocking against a tree. He said the Mohau man was enshrined in Maori mythology. I think that's how it's pronounced. Sometimes being called Matau, Miaro, Tuhurangi, Tiaunjaina, you did this to me on purpose, or Rapuai. I got that one. I nailed that one. I nailed the landing on that one.
Dude, roll through it. Nobody from New Zealand's listening to the show. Nobody's going to attack your pronunciation.
Not true. I have a whole... I was going through my email today. I'm just going to forward them all to you.
That's fine.
Yeah, and you'll see. You'll see.
Yeah.
It was thought that they had talons and that they would kill warriors quite easily, Koppel said.
Did you start yawning mid-sentence? What was that?
I'm just going to act like I'm having a stroke every time I read it. There have been various sightings over the years, and early prospectors were warned by, that word about going into the bush all night along at night. You know what I'm saying? He said there have been various modern sightings, and he had been contacted by people who reported seeing the beast but were afraid to share their account with others. Koppel is crowdfunding to raise money to make a documentary about the hunt for the Mohau man. As of Friday, donations had reached $25, just a fraction of his $5,800 goal. I don't think he's getting there very quickly. Koppel had said he previously spent about 20 years working in the United States as a paranormal investigator. He wanted to be the first to find New Zealand's own Bigfoot because of his curiosity. He said, I want answers. I don't have answers, but I want them. Auckland University of Technology history professor Paul Moon said he had not heard of the Mohau man. There are mythical stories about creatures in forests, but I have not heard anything about this one specifically. He said the myth could be due to a phenomenon called cultural cross-pollination, where ideas from one culture got implanted into another culture. It will be really interesting for Koppel to cite his sources. If he can pinpoint the specific or iwi or hapu this mythical creature belongs to, then he might have some basis to his claim. Leon Ngame, who grew up in this area, says the Mohau man or hairy man of the Coromandel was a familiar story from her childhood. We're one of the local hapu of the Mohau area, and our family has lived beneath the mountain for centuries. Talking with my family members, we do recall in our family history references to the hairy man of the Coromandel or Mohau man. She said the stories came around about the same time as the settler community, sometime in the 1950s. Our Wano looked at it with mild amusement. The story had no basis within our tradition, local iwi or hapu. It coincided with all the Sasquatch sightings that occurred within America and elsewhere in the world, but we never took it seriously in our collective experience as a family. So there you go.
Well, Tim, I have something exciting to share. It doesn't happen often, but I've got something exciting to share.
Okay.
There's a casting for a brand new series exploring the unexplained. They're looking for people, Tim, who have had real encounters with the paranormal, folkloric or unexplained. They want to hear your stories about an unbelievable event or series of events centered around something that might seem completely crazy to anyone who hasn't experienced it for themselves. They want to dive into the incredible stories like no other show has ever done or dared to try. ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot, cryptids, and more. The show aims to provide a platform to tell your true story. An award-winning production company is looking for people to tell their stories of the unknown for a new TV show. They're currently seeking people in and around the Southern California area. Other U.S. locations are potentially considered. If you have a story to share, please email unexplainedcastings@gmail.com. That's unexplainedcastings@gmail.com. Please be sure to include your name, age, location, and contact information. Again, your name, your age, your location, and contact information. You must be a U.S. resident, age 18 or older to be considered, and please submit it by August 31st, 2019. Get on it right now. If you've had a series of encounters or a single encounter that seems to defy logic with any aspect of the strange and the supernatural, email unexplainedcastings@gmail.com. Include your name, age, location, and contact information. They're looking for people primarily in Southern California and that surrounding area for filming immediately. So make sure you reach out to them. Let them know you heard about it right here on Beyond the Darkness. Where are we off to next, Tim?
We're headed right next door to the east in that place where serial killers and Packer fans reside. We're going to Wisconsin, Dave, where Chad Lewis stopped by. And
I love Chad. He's always a great guest.
Yeah, and he's looking for something different in Wisconsin. God bless him. He's looking for UFOs. I say that because there's generally nothing different in Wisconsin. According to Chad Lewis, Wisconsin has a rich history of UFO and alien encounters. Each year, hundreds of people witness something in the sky that they can't explain. Even more bizarre are those who believe that they have come face to face with extraterrestrial beings. Paranormal researcher Lewis explores some of the more bizarre UFO encounters Wisconsin has to offer. His presentation to attendees at the Amory Public Library June 18th was filled with eyewitness encounters, historical sightings, and on-site investigations. Lewis explained to listeners encounters with UFOs have been categorized into 5 groups. He discussed groups 1 through 4. The groups are called close encounters. The first kind are visual sightings of an unidentified object seemingly less than 500 feet away. The second kind is a UFO event where a physical event is noticed. This can be interference in the functioning of a vehicle or electronic device, a physiological effect such as paralysis or heat and discomfort in the witness, or some physical trace like impressions in the ground. Close encounters of the third kind, usually the presence of some sort of being, aliens, robots, or some sort of occupants of a UFO are witnessed. The fourth kind is where a human claims to have been abducted by a UFO or its occupants. 3 cities in Wisconsin claim to be the UFO capital. Elmwood, Dundee, and Belleville all celebrate the strange happening.
I say we make them fight it out gladiator style and prove it.
Well,
was that asking too much?
It's just going to be people slapping each other with lefts. It's not going to be very exciting. I don't know if you've ever been to either of those 3 cities.
No, I try not to stray into the wilds of Wisconsin. I have to go through it to get to Minnesota from Illinois and back and forth. But, Wisconsin, Tim, it's got dogmen, it's got Bigfoot, and it's got Packer fans.
And
all
serial
of which
killers.
Equally terrifying. Oh, yeah. Cannibalistic serial killers, too, Tim. Let me make sure that you point that part out.
Right. So, and if you're in Wisconsin, you're one of 2 things. You're a serial killer or a Packer fan. There ain't nothing good there. You don't want to get out of your car.
Oh, the Packer fans hate us. But listen, we still love you, even though you hate us. And by love, I mean we tolerate you somehow. But no, thank you for listening either way. Yeah, Wisconsin's got a lot of high strangeness. And it does have Chad Lewis. So, there's always that. And I'm going to be out at the Wizard World Madison convention again this year. So I did love that. That was a pretty cool conference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So 3 cities in Wisconsin claim to be the UFO capital: Elmwood, Dundee, and Belleville, and they all celebrate the strange happenings that have allegedly occurred in their zip codes. People in these areas have claimed to witness UFOs buzzing over crop circles, hovering crafts, and even abduction by UFO pilots. Another story shared by Lewis was that of William Bozak of Frederick, One foggy night in the winter of 1974, 68-year-old William Bozak had what he called a hair-raising experience. He was driving slowly on his way home from a meeting that night when he spotted a strange object on the side of the road. He slowly drove closer to it, trying to see through the fog, but his headlights were so bright that he could only make out the top half of the object. The human, as Bozak told newspapers, was standing inside a transparent glass compartment that was bullet-shaped and tapered toward the top. It was between 8 and 10 feet tall and had its arms raised above its head. The creature was wearing a skin-tight suit and had dark tan fur sticking out from the sides of its head. It also had a furry upper body and hairy pits. It was probably the queen of that town. I'm just saying. Probably the beauty queen.
I got nothing.
I got nothing. Probably was. Have you ever seen some of these summer festivals there in Wisconsin?
Probably in trouble.
Probably riding the float. Its ears stuck out about 3 inches from its head. It definitely was the beauty queen of that town. As Bozak got close, fear overcame him, and he decided to get the H out of Dodge. It says that right here in the article. Dave, I read it verbatim. When he stepped on the accelerator, the inside of his car got dark, and he heard a noise like the engine was missing. He also heard a soft whooshing sound like tree branches rubbing up against the car. Field investigator Everett E. Leitner, who was on the case, reported that Bozak was very frightened at the time, but the look on the alien's face looked as scared as he was. You could tell by its large eyes protruding from its head. I was so darn scared I was afraid to go out at night for a few days, Bozak told reporters. He also said he felt he did the wrong thing by speeding away. I should have stopped and tried to show it I was friendly, he said. I wish I could meet up with it again and give it a few Jägermeisters and maybe chase it down with some Pabst Blue Ribbon. You know what I'm saying? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
You're looking for a fist fight is what you're looking for, Tim.
No. I'm just saying that's the way they operate.
You're looking for a fist fight. That's what I'm telling you, boy.
Probably take her down to the pub. Show her a good time. That's the way they operate in Wisconsin. Bozak actually kept his encounter secret almost for a month. He didn't even tell his own family, and why would he? That it was probably his mistress after a while. He said that before his experience, he was skeptical of UFO stories, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be skeptical after hearing what happened to me, Bozak said. But if people don't believe me, I'll take a lie detector test to prove this. Prove this isn't just something I made up, he went on to say. Lewis has heard numerous stories like Bozak's. He grew up near Eau Claire. Lewis did. He has a Master of Science degree in applied psychology from the University of Stout, and many years' experience traveling the world in search of what he calls unique and bizarre stories in history. For over 2 decades, Lewis has traveled the back roads of the world in search of the strange and unusual, from tracking vampires in Transylvania and searching for the elusive monster of Loch Ness to trailing the dangerous Tata Duende, Zenyatta Mondata. That too.
Isn't that a Police album?
I think it is. Yes, he's been traveling.
No, that's Regatta de Blanc. Sorry,
that's what it is. Yeah, he's been traveling to track the police through remote villages of Belize and searching for ghosts in Ireland's haunted castles. Chad has scoured the earth in search of the paranormal. Lewis has been featured on Discovery Channel's A Haunting, William Shatner's Weird or What, ABC's Scariest Places on Earth, Monsters and Mysteries in America, along with being a frequent contributor on Ripley's Believe It or Not radio with a master's degree in psychology. Lewis is the author of over 20 books on the supernatural and extensively lectures on his fascinating findings. The more bizarre the legend, the more likely it is you will find Chad Lewis there.
That is true. Mm-hmm. Love me some Chad Lewis.
Yeah.
All right. I want to do a quick movie review.
Sure.
Spider-Man Far From Home is out now in theaters, and it is another fun little facet of the Marvel Universe. I got to tell you, I've always had an affinity for Spider-Man. He's my favorite character from the Marvel Universe. Batman, my favorite from DC. And I think they finally got it right with this Tom Holland incarnation. Mm-hmm. Is it perfect? No. Are there characters and things that they've added to the story I don't understand? Yes. I don't know why they've kind of meshed a few of the versions of Spider-Man together to create this one, but I accept it for what it is. There have to be some changes made for this new universe. So that's fine with me. I like Tom Holland. I think he does a great job as Peter Parker and as Spider-Man. I like the special effects, the storylines, and you got to give it to them. To come back with Vulture in the first movie and Mysterio in this movie as the main kind of antagonists, great concept, because those are two, I think, very underused characters, and they really updated both very well for current day. So, Vulture was in the last one, Homecoming. This is Far From Home. I liked it a lot. I would give it, out of 5 stars, I would give it a solid 4 stars. I didn't think it was the greatest, but I thought it was a really good installment, and it's much better than some of the other movies that have. I wasn't a big fan of Black Panther or Doctor Strange. Captain Marvel left me kind of flat. Yeah. So I felt like this is kind of getting them back on track. There are 2 endings. So there's one midway through, and then there's another one all the way at the very end. And I'll talk to you about that off air, Tim, because I have no clue what they're setting up for the next movie, and wondering what your insight might be on it.
Okay.
But I liked it. What did you think? Out of 5 stars, what would you give Spider-Man Far From Home?
I might have liked it a little bit more than you did. The only thing that leaves me flat, and the thing that I think is missing out of this iteration of Spider-Man, is the chemistry between Peter and MJ. I don't see it. I don't think there's any chemistry whatsoever between Tom Holland and Zendaya, and I don't get what Zendaya is doing with MJ as a character. She comes off as too brash and too there's no, it doesn't.
She's too emo.
Yeah,
for me.
Yeah.
She's kind of. Yeah. But I like Zendaya. I think she's a great little actress. And I like the character. I just don't know that they should have necessarily. I don't really even understand what they're doing with that, because she's not Mary Jane Watson. She's a totally different character, but she still goes by MJ. I don't know why they've skirted like Gwen Stacy or any of the other, characters that he was known to hang out with in high school. There seems like there would have been some other good places to go. But I get it. I think you're right. There seems to be something missing in that relationship.
Yeah, it just to me, there's absolutely no chemistry there, and I don't get, I don't get why he chases her. But that's neither here nor there. I liked this movie much more than I liked the first one. I think because he's a more complete person and hero, and he's going through. He's much more complete Peter Parker in this movie than he was in the last one. So with that, I'd say probably 4.25 stars. It's a more complete movie to me than Homecoming was, and he's more. Even though he's got his problems, he's a more complete. Like I said, he's a more complete Peter Parker. There are some twists at the end, and that big twist at the end we'll talk about sets up a whole nother movie coming up. And yes, even though they haven't announced there's going to be another Spider-Man movie, there has to be another Spider-Man movie by Marvel. Just trust me on this. There has to be.
Yeah.
I'll give it to Jake Gyllenhaal. I thought his performance was pretty good. There's some people that I know that have seen the movie that have said they didn't like his performance. I liked it. I thought he did a really good job. I thought that he brought something. I've always thought Mysterio was a flat character when it came to Spider-Man villains. There were better villains. And I always thought Quentin Beck was a flat villain.
Yeah.
And I thought Jake Gyllenhaal actually fleshed him out rather well. So I'd say 4.25. Now, I want to ask you this. Did you see or have you seen Midsommar yet?
I am going to see Midsommar tonight.
Okay.
Special screening. Have you seen it?
I did see it. So let's wait for you to see it, and then we'll talk about it.
Well, no, it opens up. Let's talk about it now. I'll talk about it again next week, but I'm just curious what your thoughts are on this, because I just heard from Katie Hart, our former contributor to the program. She said, let me see. I'll give you her exact statement.
Go ahead.
For those of you that don't know, Midsommar, I guess, is made by the people that were behind, or at least the director behind Hereditary.
Yes. Yep.
So,
Ari Aster. Yep.
So there's that. If you can get past that aspect. I was not a big fan of Hereditary. I thought it was okay. I walked out not knowing exactly what the hell just happened to me for that time.
Well, welcome to part 2.
She said, dude, you see Midsommar? I said, I'm heading to it tonight. She goes, awesome. If you like folk horror genre. And I go, oh, you liked it? She goes, I effing loved every effing upped up horrifying minute of it. But dude, anyone sensitive about certain topics, this may be a no-go. I was legit nauseated within 15 minutes. And I said, uh-oh, did you like Hereditary? She said, yep, I wouldn't necessarily compare the two, though. So Katie Hart effing loved every effing horrifying minute of it. So that's a pretty good
I think
pretty good feel to it.
I think I know your tastes in horror movies. I don't think you're going to effing love it. I'll put it to you this way. It is very slow. In fact, the runtime on this movie is like 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Right.
Okay. And it really does it really is a character develop type movie. You really, the movie starts out, and I'm not ruining anything by giving you this much. The girl in the movie, it starts out with this girl in the movie, and her sister is bipolar, and she's emailing back and forth with her sister, and she's worried because her sister is threatening to take out herself and her parents, and she's been threatening to take herself out for quite some time. And she's really distraught about it. Well, the sister does end up taking out the parents and herself.
Well, don't give too much away on it.
No. I'm not giving away a thing by telling you that. That's
really? It sounds like you gave away a big plot point.
No, it's not. It's not. Okay. That's how the movie starts. And that's what sets up everything. And she's in a relationship with this boyfriend of hers, and it's already on rocky ground. And so when this happens, it puts them in even rockier ground.
What? Multiple murder suddenly makes your relationship start to falter? Psh, girl, please. Find a man that's willing to stand by your side like Tim Dennis. Give him a call at 612.
Well, Dave, I do have an email you can go through. We have to go through screening processes and stuff like that. All right. So not to sound cold and callous. And we are in the middle of a movie review. So in this guy's name is Christian, and Christian has some friends of his that he hangs out with that are kind of encouraging him to get away from her. Her name's Dana, the girl. And they're saying that, you know what, she's kind of hanging on to you, and she's got all these emotional needs. And this is before they know that her parents are dead. And they're all kind of planning this trip to go to Sweden. Well, now that her parents are dead, he invites her to go along too. And one of the guys that's in this group is from Sweden, and they're all going to his village. So I've just given you the setup for the movie. And there's this 9-day festival in Sweden that they're going to. Okay, and they're going to his local village. Well, this village is kind of a throwback type village where, you know, they all live by these old customs, and they're participating in this 9-day festival, and it only happens every 90 years. Okay. So that's the setup for the movie.
All right. So out of 5 stars, how many are you going to give this one?
This is where it gets tricky, because it is so slow, and because there aren't very many jump scares. Okay.
I'm okay with a good psychological edge. I like a good psychological weird movie.
So there's a lot of drug use in this movie. The kids do a lot of mushrooms, and you get to see a lot of effects through their brains. And if you like good psychological thrillers, which is what this is, with a little bit of horror, I'll give you that. This is the preface I'm giving you as you walk into this movie. I would give it 3 out of 5.
No, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad. All right. Well, I'm gonna check it out.
It's not great, but it's good.
All right.
Yeah.
It's good. It's original, though. Is that the import?
Yes, very original. And there are some scenes in there in this movie, and I'm going to guarantee you this, Dave. There are some scenes in this movie you're going to look at and go, what the am I watching?
Okay.
Yeah. There may be a point, too, where you go, do I want to walk out of the theater? Because I don't know what I'm watching.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, 3 out of 5 for that. All right, I'll give it a shot. I'll let you know what I think on next week's show.
Okay.
All right, where are we going next in the world of supernatural news?
Well, we covered this a little bit last week, but we're going to give you a little bit of a more detailed rundown this week. Ghost Hunters is coming back to TV, and it's getting a revival with its original star, one of its original stars, in Grant Wilson. Reality TV got spookier back in 2004 with the premiere Ghost Hunters on Sci-Fi, following paranormal investigators who dug into places that were reportedly haunted. It was up to viewers to decide if lead investigators Jason Hawes and Grant Wilson were really encountering spirits or not, and the premise was enough for the series to run 11 seasons from 2004 to 2016. Now, Ghost Hunters is on the way back, and one original star is on board, despite a number of other changes. Original co-leader Grant Wilson will return at the head of an otherwise new team of investigators for the 12th season, but he won't be on his old TV stomping grounds. The Ghost Hunters revival will air on A&E rather than Sci-Fi, and the premiere really isn't all that far off. The first episode of A&E's Ghost Hunters airs August 21st, and as the first of 20 episodes that have been greenlit so far. The new paranormal investigative team will be comprised of contractor and firearms instructor Daryl Marston, who will co-lead with Grant Wilson, hypnotherapist and parapsychology expert Kristen Luman, another co-leader, paranormal technician Brandon Elvis, paranormal historian and site analyst Mustafa Gattalari. I believe I got that right. Sorry, Mustafa, if I got that wrong. Former Marine and current construction worker Brian Murray, and seasoned ghost hunter Rochelle Stratton. These investigators were handpicked by Wilson, so don't expect the ghost sex lady to turn up. That's what the article says, even if she's engaged to a ghost now. From the very beginning, ghost hunters utilized technology to explain the seemingly unexplainable, but the A&E version will use the most innovative technology available. The innovative technology of 2019 will be likely vastly superior to the tech from the earlier seasons of the show, and probably even the latest season, which ended in 2016. It should be interesting to see what changes and what stays the same other than Grant Wilson as lead. Will the new Ghost Hunters have what it takes to hook a paranormal-loving crowd to tuning into A&E on the regular? Well, A&E is betting big on the genre moving forward, as a Ghost Hunters revival is not the only paranormal-themed show to get an order from the network. 4 supernatural-focused shows, no, not that kind of supernatural. In addition to Ghost Hunters landed orders from A&E, you've got Psychic Kids and Celebrity Ghost Stories reimaginings in the works, along with a couple of brand new projects. The 2 new projects have only working titles so far. We told you a little bit about them last week, but they include Trey the Texas Medium, as it's currently known. It'll center on a custom casket designer and medium who works to help families in need of closure. It received an order for 12 episodes to premiere in the fall right off the bat. World's Biggest Ghost Hunt is a working title and will be the longest continuously filmed paranormal investigation in TV history, with 5 paranormal investigators locked up in the Pennhurst Asylum in Pennsylvania for 2 weeks. It's a 2-hour special, and it too will premiere in the fall. Of the paranormal projects in the works for the fall on A&E, Ghost Hunters is the one with the most name recognition and arguably greatest potential to draw an audience in a matter of months. Viewers can find out if A&E has what it takes to become a new paranormal destination on TV, or if Ghost Hunters was best left finished. The Ghost Hunters revival premieres Wednesday, August 21st at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on A&E. Still a ways off, but at least there's plenty of other TV options available now and in the not-too-distant future.
All right, I think you have a follow-up to that story as well, so I'll let you wrap up with that before we go to another Parashare.
A Rhode Island house featured in The Conjuring is sold to new owners. Is that the one you're talking about?
I thought there was one about Steve Gonsalves, but maybe I forgot to send that one on. Steve Gonsalves, of course, is not returning to the new iteration of Ghost Hunters, but he will be on Ghost Nation on Travel Channel and I believe that begins airing sometime in August or September. So that'll be going on. But go ahead with the Conjuring house story, since the Ghost Hunters were the first ones to ever investigate it on TV.
Oh, okay. The Rhode Island house featured in The Conjuring is sold to new owners. We go to Burrillville, Rhode Island, where the Rhode Island house that was the subject of the wildly popular, I don't know why I went into puke mode there, and profitable movie The Conjuring has been sold. It's been 6 years since the summer blockbuster hit the big screen in 2013, based on Ed and Lorraine Warren's popular paranormal investigation into the Harrisville home, which was built in the 1700s and some say is haunted. In the 1970s, Andrea Perrin and her sisters, mom and dad too, moved into the house, which she said quickly revealed itself to them. It's magical, said Perrin. It's a portal cleverly disguised as a farmhouse. It's multiple dimensions interacting simultaneously. The Perrins moved out in 1980. Norma Sutcliffe bought the property and soon had encounters she later denied after the movie came out, suing Warner Brothers and saying their lives became a living hell because of the curious. Her attorney told NBC 10 News the case was settled out of court with a confidentiality agreement. The new owners, who as of yet remain unnamed, bought the house last Friday on the summer solstice. They're still getting settled and right now declined an on-camera interview. They're mature, responsible adults, and they're not going to turn it into a circus, said Perrin. They're going to treat it with respect that it deserves. I'm hoping that what they'll do is either run tours or do lectures. Friends Susan and Dennis Lassard stopped by Wednesday and were asked to come back later. They're different. They're tough cookies, and they're tough. That's what they do. She's been doing it a while, said the husband and wife, completing each other's thoughts, also describing the new owners as a much better fit for the home, as the previous owner became overwhelmed by the notoriety of the house. NBC 10 asked if they believed in ghosts, as the house is allegedly haunted. Spirits, they said. Perrin wrote a trilogy of books on the family's experiences there and is now adapting them for the big screen. A target for production is next year.
It's interesting to me that the woman sued because none of it was true, blah, 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 blah. Yet she did a video with Andrea that was on YouTube for quite a few years. It might even still be up there, where Andrea went back and interviewed her. And the woman completely agrees with all of the type of paranormal activity and the things were taking place there. So it's weird, but yeah, maybe you're just not prepared for it. And then when it breaks into a movie form, and I understand that the movie itself was, based on the true story, and, Andrea and her family have been very open about the fact that a lot of it was changed for entertainment. Mm-hmm. But there's no doubt that the place was crazy active and that their mother did deal with a type of possession. But the Perrin family were not as loving with the Warrens as the movie paints them out. As a matter of fact, Roger Perrin at many live events has talked about how he punched Ed out during the seance. He kept telling Ed, knock it off. And Ed tried to stop him. And Roger knocked him flat on his ass. So, there's different parts of the real history involved here. Hi, Dave. Hi, Tim. It's been a good while since I last tried to contact you. This time I have an idea or theory as to why ghosts may often seem to keep their distance from people and are often seen just at a distance. During church service earlier, the pastor explained that after his crucifixion, Jesus Christ was on earth long enough for Mary to speak with him. He insisted that she not touch him. So this may suggest two possible things. The deceased may have a choice to stay around because they do not wish to leave. And maybe there is something bad that would happen if a living person touched them while they remained here. For that reason, they may be avoiding live contact. So those are my ideas. Thank you for your time, and I shall keep an eye on my email in case you wish to reply. And that comes from Jeff Dabbs. No, Jeff, we're just going to talk about it on the show. But thank you for writing in. Yeah, those are some pretty good theories. Interesting theories.
Yeah.
But then you've got ghosts that touch people.
Yeah, or scratch.
Right. Well, maybe those aren't ghosts, and Tim. Maybe there's something different, something darker. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's it for Parashare this week. I think you've got two last stories we'll wrap up with. What have we got next?
I got three.
Oh, my. Look at you overachiever.
I know. Well, caution, kids. Earmuffs. I got a bad word I get to say in this one. This one, Dave. Okay, it's my turn. It's my turn, Dave. It's my turn to go all paranoid this week.
Okay.
Yep.
Wait a minute. With that said, I can already hear. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. Although I could say this one for the end, but I'll read it now, I guess.
Now, go ahead. Your Terminator story is online. Let's hear it.
Here's the quote. Here's your playlist, shithead. Echo Dot owner claims Amazon's Alexa assistant began swearing at him after he quit his Prime membership.
What?
Yep, and why wouldn't
AI
it?
began cursing at him?
Yep, and why wouldn't it? You gave up your Prime membership. I mean, it's only fair. An Echo Dot owner claims that Amazon's Alexa assistant has started calling him a shithead. You heard it right. Whenever he asks the personal assistant to play him music.
Wow.
It's the beginning of the end, Dave. It really is. 29-year-old Michael Slade was reportedly shocked when his Echo Dot speaker began to swear at him following his cancellation of his Amazon Prime subscription. This is why you always use the auto pay. The incident has reportedly left Amazon engineers puzzled. Oh, they're not that puzzled. Don't be fooled. With the tech firm offering Mr. Slade gift cards and a year of free Prime membership and compensation. Really? That's all it takes to get a free year of Prime?
So wait, they didn't deny that the Alexa called them a shithead?
Evidently not. They just offered him a free year of free Prime membership and some gift cards.
That's weird. What does that tell you, dude? They're being apologists now for their own AI.
Yep. Software is available for the Echo Dot speaker that can make Alexa curse. But it is unclear whether someone might have deliberately uploaded this to the device. Online business owner and South Wales resident Michael Slade, 29, said that the trouble began the day after he called Amazon to cancel his subscription to their Prime subscription service. He said, I tried to cancel my subscription and had a short conversation with someone in customer services, and the next day my Alexa is calling me names.
That's just bizarre. I'd like to cancel my service. All right, shithead. Have a good day, you prick. Is that so? Alexa's just taken a whole new anger approach.
When he later asked the personal assistant to play him some music, Alexa reportedly responded, "Sure, here's your playlist, shithead, on Amazon Music. Sorry, something went wrong." The Alexa reportedly bleeped out part of the swear word, but her owner was still taken aback. I couldn't believe it, Mr. Slade said. I normally asked it to play me music. I never made a playlist, he had added. When I asked it to play music, I would say, here's something you might like, and it's normally some pop or student favorites. I've spoken to technical support, and they never heard of this happening before, Mr. Slade said. Oh, sure. They kept saying sorry, but they didn't know what had happened. Mr. Slade claims he has no idea why the assistant has begun to call him names. All I wanted to do was cancel my Prime subscription because I wasn't using it. I wondered if someone has changed something on my account, said Mr. Slade. Although it's strange because everything else works fine and it's still calling me Mike, he added. Oh, it's still friendly. Software is available for upload into the Echo Dot smart speakers that can make Alexa say rude words. I want that software. It is unknown whether such additional programming might have been installed by Mr. Slade, his friends or family, or alternatively an Amazon employee. I swear I haven't done anything to it, Michael said, however. Hand on heart, I haven't made it say it or know why, he added, nor do any of my housemates. After Mr. Slade reported the incident to Amazon, the tech firm reportedly sent him are you ready for this, Dave? Here is your compensation. A $6 gift voucher.
Well, maybe he is an asshat, so they felt like that was, it really shouldn't have said it, but you are a bit of a shithead. So here's $6.
Mr. Slade said, I was a bit annoyed at the gift card they sent me. 5 pounds is hardly enough for being called a shithead.
I don't know. With the quantity of times I hear it in my own house, to me, if I was compensated $6 every time, I'd be a billionaire.
However, after being approached to comment by The Sun, the online retail firm is reported to have increased their offer of compensation to a £250 or $317 gift voucher and a free membership to Amazon Prime for a year. Amazon has reportedly requested that Mr. Slade permit them to access his Echo Dot's logs so they might investigate what went wrong with Alexa. An Amazon spokesperson told the Mail Online customers are able to personalize their Alexa experience, including playlist names. Alexa would not respond in this way without some customization from the user, is what they're saying.
Is that what you want us to believe? All right, where are we off to next?
Are you interested at all in what questions Alexa won't answer for children?
No.
No?
I don't want to know right now.
You don't want to know what Alexa says, what happens when you die?
No. All right, what does it say when a child asks Alexa?
The regular version is, sorry, I'm not sure, when you ask Alexa what happens when you die. When the child version is, that's a hard question to answer. If you're wondering about this, you should ask someone in your family, a teacher or a friend who you know and trust.
All right, well, that's a nice answer.
Yeah.
Unless it starts throwing in, that's none of your business, shithead.
Oh, that'd be a good one. Yeah.
I bet you get more than $6 if it does that.
They also have answers for what is marijuana, where do babies come from, is Santa Claus real, who is Stormy Daniels, please tell me who the president is, and why do I have to go to school?
I love that.
Yeah.
All right, what's our next supernatural tale?
Mysterious extragalactic flash pinpointed for the second time ever. The landmark find could eventually help astronomers figure out what's causing fast radio bursts, and it's not this program, I'll tell you that right now. Astronomers are starting to get goods on one of the most mysterious phenomena in the universe. For just the second time ever, researchers have pinpointed the location of a fast radio burst, a super brief explosion that releases as much energy in 1 millisecond as Earth's sun does over nearly a century. The lone previously pinpointed burst, known as FRB 121102, is a rare repeater, if you know what I mean, one that's flared up over dozens of times over the past few years. But the newfound blast is a member of the much more commonly observed one-off class. Dear God. Its discovery, which was announced on June 27th, is in the journal Science, shows that these elusive beasts can be traced and tracked, potentially allowing astronomers to finally figure out what causes them. This is the big breakthrough the field has been waiting for since astronomers discovered fast radio bursts in 2007. Lead author Keith Bannister of the Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization said in a statement, CSIRO is Australia's national science agency. Bannister and his colleagues found the FRB using the Australian Square Kilometre Array Pathfinder, or ASCAP, not ASCAP as in the musicians group, a network of 36 radio telescopes at CSIRO's Murchison Radio Astronomy Observatory in Western Australia. They detected the burst on September 24th, 2018, which explains its name, FRB 180924. The repeater FRB 121102 was first spotted in 2012, as you may have now surmised. This was exciting enough, given that the total tally of known FRBs stood at 85. Just 2 of those are repeaters, but the team broke new ground by tracking their find to its source. The researchers developed a new technique that automatically recognized FRB 180924 less than 300 milliseconds after the burst hit the ASCAP dishes. Such speed was of the essence because the team needed to access data that was overwritten every 3.1 seconds. The scientists then measured the tiny differences in FRB 180924's arrival time at the 36 ASCAP dishes down to about 1/100th of a nanosecond. Comparing these differences allowed them to determine the burst source in the sky with a precision of 0.00002 degrees, equivalent to the width of a human hair as seen from 650 feet away. That source lies on the outskirts of a big galaxy called DES 214425-405-400.81.
See, I could sell that, and we could have a much easier thing for you to read in the future, Tim.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Little was known about this galaxy, so the researchers characterized it using optical observations by the Keck 2 telescope in Hawaii and the Very Large Telescope and Gemini South Telescope, both of which are in Chile. I love the fact that one of them is just named the Very Large Telescope. The study team determined that DES 214425.25-405-400.81 lies about 3.6 billion light years from Earth. In addition, the galaxy is about 1,000 times more massive and is forming stars much less actively than the dwarf that hosts FRB 121102, which lies about 3 billion light years from Earth. And FRB 121102 lies near the center of its own home galaxy, the region where a supermassive black hole likely lurks. These differences are important because they show that FRBs can come from a huge range of types of galaxies and environments, Bannister told Space.com via email. They don't seem to need very special conditions to occur. FRB 180924's location also offers a few clues about the mysterious processes that drive FRBs. For example, Bannister said supermassive black holes are ruled out for this particular burst, given its considerable distance, which is 13,000 light years from the galactic core. Indeed, the new study may spur significant rethink of FRB generation, team members said. The most credible model for bursts built to explain the repeater suggests that they are produced by young magnetars, highly magnetized neutron stars. Co-author Ryan Shannon of Swinburne University of Technology in Melbourne told Space.com, these magnetars are preferentially formed in tiny dwarf galaxies, like that of FRB 121102 hosts, Shannon added. Either the model needs to be relaxed to allow for bursts to be produced in a diversity of environments, or there are two mechanisms for producing bursts. There's always the possibilities that FRBs are generated advanced civilizations, of course, but this is a long shot, as alien invocations tend to be.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I just think it's fascinating that they've actually been able to pinpoint it that far away. But if it happened a billion light years from here, does that, I mean, it's just now getting that radio signal, so it's taken billions of years to get that signal. You know, and radio signal travels slower than light. Mm-hmm. So, you know, is that a long dead civilization if there was something there trying to contact us?
I don't know. It's a good question. I'm wondering how far Casey Kasem has gotten out into the universe so far, even from the 70s.
Maybe that's what they're responding to. Please send more Casey.
That's what they want.
America's Top 40 will be right back after this.
They want to know what the number one hit was in 1983.
We all want to know.
Anxiously waiting.
All right, where are we up to next?
Last story. Mysterious UFO spotted over the Korean DMZ just hours after President Trump's historic visit to meet Kim Jong-un, causing fighter jets to be scrambled.
Dear Dave and Tim, I do not tune into your show to hear you badmouth the president or to bring up the president's name or to talk about a president ever. So please don't bring up presidents during this show. It's a paranormal show and has nothing to do with politics. Your fan, Evelyn.
This is about a UFO or the DMZ, why they were meeting.
You and I know that, but that's the kind of emails we get. And because we even evoked the name TRUMP, half of our audience is already writing us hate mail. The other half is wondering why we're bringing politics into the show, and they'll never even get to the point that it's a UFO story. Yeah. It's weird. I can hear it. Can't you?
I can.
A billion thumbs hammering away at phones right now telling us what shitheads we are. Huh. It's just like having Alexa.
It is.
All right.
Shove your story, shithead. Here we go. Fighter jets and helicopters were scrambled to investigate a mysterious UFO over Korea's demilitarized zone hours after Donald Trump's historic meeting with Kim Jong-un at the border. South Korea's military says its radar detected traces of flight by an unidentified object heading across the frontier from North Korea early on that day. U.S. President, I'm reading the captions on the photos. They're so interesting. It came hours after Mr. Trump became the first president to set foot in North Korea, the first U.S. president, as he shook hands with Kim at the world's most heaviest fortified border. The radar sighting sparked a full-scale military response as tensions remain high between the two countries. The South's Yonhap news agency said the flying object showed a flight trace that a helicopter could display and that it flew from north to south across the DMZ's military demarcation line. News reports say South Korea launched fighter jets and helicopters because it believed it could be a North Korean aircraft flying across the border into South Korea. The Joint Chiefs of Staff said it could only confirm that it deployed unidentified surveillance assets to find out what the object was. Later, a spokesman said commanders now believed it was a flock of birds that sparked the false alarm. The farce alarm, Dave.
You almost said fart alarm.
I did, yeah.
The flock of seagulls set off the fart alarm?
It's been a long show.
Yeah.
The DMZ, 160 miles long and 2.5 miles wide, has separated the two countries since fighting ceased in the 1950-53 Korean War. It is peppered with an estimated 2 million mines, lined with razor wire, watchtowers, and tank traps, and guarded by battalions of troops on each side. Artillery shells and rockets have occasionally been fired across the Cold War frontier, which is only 35 miles from Seoul. Open hostilities have eased since the North entered talks on its nuclear weapons program. Sunday's historic meeting between Mr. Trump and Mr. Kim took place at the border village of Panmunjom, where the armistice was signed in 1953. North Korea's state media described their third meeting as an amazing event. Kim had accepted Trump's Twitter invitation to say hello and shake hands in an attempt to revive stalled nuke talks. He was waiting to greet the U.S. president as he stepped across the low concrete border and said he was proud he had come. Mr. Trump, in return, told reporters, "I just want to say this is my honor. Stepping across that line is a great honor. Great progress has been made. Great friendships have been made, and this has been, in particular, a great friendship." He also invited the North Korean leader to the U.S. for a visit and added, "History has been made." The two men then both stepped back to the southern portion to sit down in the pastel blue Freedom House for what was said to be a brief meeting. Afterward,
is that their version of the IHOP?
I think it is, yeah. You can get a really greasy omelet and some dry toast over there. Afterward, Mr. Trump said the two nations had agreed to resume talks in the coming weeks. And today, South Korea said it hoped the diplomatic momentum created by the latest Trump-Kim meeting would help revive dialogue with Pyongyang, which had stalled amid an impasse over sanctions. Mr. Trump was photographed getting his first glimpse of North Korea as he stood atop observation post Owlet. In a press conference, Trump spoke about his chemistry with the North Korean leader. For some reason, we have a certain chemistry or whatever. Let's see what happens, he went on to say.
See, this is why I honestly believe that UFOs are us from the future. I just talked about this the other night on Midnight in the Desert. We were talking about haunted Hawaii, and they were talking about how one of the volcanoes is rumbling back to life, and suddenly there are all of these massive UFO sightings.
Mm-hmm.
I think that volcano is getting ready to blow.
Mm-hmm.
I think these are time travelers coming back to witness historic and important parts in our history. Think about all of the times UFOs have been sighted just leading up to or during an important event.
Well, now here's an interesting question, and we just had the earthquake over China Lake in Southern California, right? That was felt in Vegas.
Right,
and was felt. Okay, so if there was a UFO sighting somewhere around China Lake, which, by the way, there is a military base there as well, it would beg the question, or actually it wouldn't beg a question, it would back up your theory that if there were UFOs sighted somewhere around there, around July 3rd, or even early in the morning of July 4th, then yeah, it would back up your theory that these things are documenting huge world events.
I don't know that that's a big enough world event because there was not major death and carnage associated with it, major damage.
But well, I would beg to argue that's a huge scale earthquake, and there's still aftershocks going on. Even right,
the aftershocks that happened on Friday were, I think there was like a 4.6 in the morning.
There was a 5. Yeah.
So there's still quite a bit going on with that, and I understand maybe it is if it leads up to a big one for California. Then yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, they've had so many earthquakes over the years. I just don't know unless there's something major that changes, like, the massive San Francisco earthquake or something like that. But this was an important meeting in history. The volcano getting ready to erupt. There were UFOs sighted over New York leading up to 9/11. There were UFOs sighted over the Vatican during the changing of the Pope. There were UFOs sighted at many different locations. So it's to me, it's fascinating. And it's one of those deals where the stories go that these sightings took place before the news broke. So it wasn't like, there were sightings that people talked about after 9/11. They talked about it leading up to 9/11, and then 9/11 occurred. So very strange, very strange. Well, that's it for another week, kids. We're done with Supernatural News Parashare. We'll be back tomorrow with more of the best in paranormal talk radio, but you have to wait a whole nother week to get more of the strange and supernatural, and we want to hear your stories. You can call our Voices from Beyond voicemail at 651-300-4977. 651-300-4977. You could just leave us a nice message that we'll listen to, or you could tell us your strange and supernatural encounters, or continue to email them to me, dave@darknessradio.com. That's it for that guy. I'm this guy. You've been listening to that show. This is Beyond the Darkness.